Drinking this album, listen to the brews. I think it would pair well, if only for you, 'cause it's album and brews. It's album and brews.
Hello, friends, and top of the morning to you. Just kidding. Well, I don't know. Welcome back to Album and Brews. We're recording this on St. Patrick's Day. This isn't a St. Patrick's episode, but happy to be here and... Shit. Fuck. Oh! Guys, I'm so sorry. The wolf is loose. I need to go get that. My name is Sarah.
That's my Mastodon impersonation. Hi, guys. I'm Zach. Stampede.
How am I supposed to follow that?
It gets them
Well
every time.
played.
It's just a good noise.
It's so
Well
fun
played.
to make loud noises.
I guess I'm a Sasquatch then.
Can you see into the future? We'll find out.
We'll find
I think so.
Allegedly.
Sirens from the Monolith. Tell us a little about that.
Yes, so I just put out a record called Silence for Monoliths, and it is my 7th solo album under my name. And it's doing really well so far. It's almost sold out on tape,
Whoa.
which that's pretty sweet. I've got like less than 4. I got like 4 copies left, I think.
I was going to get one. I got to get one after the episode now.
Definitely.
Run,
It's
don't walk.
it's my best one yet. Everybody's been saying. It's got a
Ooh.
couple reviews. It's doing pretty well. 8 out of 10 so far.
Nice.
So that's pretty.
That's
good.
almost all of them.
That's almost all of them. Yeah.
Selling out of tapes in 2025 is very impressive.
Yeah.
Like,
They're coming back. I
DIY
feel like.
is back.
You'd be surprised. Like I wanted to do vinyl, and it's just too expensive to
Oh, of
make it worth
course.
it. And then I'm sitting on like 100 copies forever that I can't get rid of. And then the tapes, they just always like people just buy the tapes. I think there's just an ambient tape fan crossover
Sure.
that people just don't really think about when they're doing ambient stuff, and then they just sell out. It's always I never expect it, but it's always like, oh, that's cool, it's sold out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because you're still getting that analog feel without like the hassle
like-
and cost.
Exactly, for like
Yeah.
a quarter of the price.
Yeah.
You can put it in your pocket.
Can't do that with a record.
How long have
I've
you
tried.
been doing music in Chicago for?
I've been doing actively doing the ambient stuff since I was a teenager. Since I was like
Cool.
16. But I've been playing drums since I was a little kid. I've been playing drums since I was like 4 years old.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
really young age to start drums.
Yeah, I'm amazed my folks were cool with it. They weren't like, here's an electric guitar that doesn't plug in.
Right.
They were like cool about the drums and stuff, as long as it was like in its own space, and everybody else went to a different part of the house when I would practice growing up.
Oh,
That's very
Wow.
generous.
Yeah, it was. They were very patient about it.
That's awesome.
But it was very encouraged too. Like my folks, very musical household.
Oh, that's great.
Which will circle back to the record we're talking about today.
yeah, the record choice makes sense now that you said
Yes,
drums.
Yeah, and it's a very drum heavy album, and and my dad, he was a big influence. Like he was a heavier music guy.
Sure.
Like both my parents, like my mom liked the poppier stuff, like Depeche Mode and Duran Duran and stuff, and then my dad would like jam on some Slayer and Slipknot and stuff and that sort of thing. So it was
Hell
like
yeah.
the merging of the influences definitely formed who I am as a musician now.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so cool to think of two folks having distinct music identities and preferences, and then like passing it on to someone.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And
Your- is music taste genetic?
probably.
Well, I really like Jack Johnson. So I love me some Timbaland and Nelly Furtado. So
So cool.
must be.
So we hinted at a little already, but we tell the folks at home who may have not have read the title what we're listening to.
Dear folks at home, we are listening to Blood Mountain by Mastodon today. One of my favorite records ever made.
Yeah. Okay. So it's your favorite of all the records. What makes it your favorite?
Something about it. There's an air to like the experimental elements on that album, and the songwriting is just so clutch for where they are where they were as a band at the time, and then where they would end up going after the fact. Like it doesn't. I don't like saying underrated, but I feel like people don't give it the same flowers as like the stuff that came before and after it. It's kind of between two pretty huge albums of theirs.
Yeah. I was reading
So
that.
the one after is Crack the Sky, which is like their magnum opus, people call it. Huge, very proggy album. And the one before it, Leviathan, which they just did a whole tour on, which I saw. And
Cool.
that album is like their breakthrough album. Like that
Yeah.
that has like their biggest hits.
Also
on
a
it, for
concept
sure.
album, right?
Also a concept
Of
album.
Moby
Yeah,
Dick.
Moby Dick,
Which is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the hat today for the people
Oh,
that
cool.
can't see. I'm wearing the Leviathan hat.
Yeah, can you give us a
Yes.
merch rundown? You've come
I
very
showed up
prepared
with props.
today.
Yeah.
I love it. I
So-
love this.
For the folks at home that can't see, because this is not a video podcast,
Yeah.
I brought with me. Well, I wore my tour shirt from one of the last times I saw them. I saw them at the Riv, and that was incredible.
Nice.
Sick.
With the band Opeth, who are also a great band, but we're not talking about them today. I wore my Mastodon Leviathan hats that I got at Riot Fest when they were in town just last, or one of the last times they were in town. I also brought the double LP, 45 RPM of Blood Mountain to sit here as the album prop,
And it's beautiful.
and it's great.
Yep.
Sounds killer. And then I also, in my glass, is a Mastodon branded glass.
I mean, it's
Oh,
a
didn't even see
goblet,
that.
It's
really.
like it's a I forget the name of it, the exact term, but it's like it's I guess you could call it a goblet. Yeah.
There's probably like a
there's a fancier
glassware
term
term,
for
but-
it. Yeah,
A
I
very
just don't know
tall
it off the
wine
top of my
glass
head.
that I normally put ciders on, which is
Yeah.
perfect for what we paired today.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's get into that. Will you tell the folks at home about our drink pairing and kind of the logic and the story there?
Yeah. So I was looking at Garfield's beverages the other day, and I saw this in the cider section. It is Blake's Hard Cider Black Phillip, and there is a giant goat on the can.
Yeah.
And on the box of the actual cider, there's like mountain and stuff. So I saw that in the store. I was like, "There's a mountain. There's a goat. This is Mastodon beer."
Yeah.
Like, they actually make
The
beers.
red on the can is even like the
Yes,
same
and
color code as the red on the record.
Yeah, and the actual cider itself is like a deep, bloody red.
It looks
Yes.
like blood.
It does look like
You
blood
should-
a little bit.
You should
Yeah,
drink this on a volcano of a mountain.
absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, it just and it kind of tastes like a mountain too. Like I tried it a little bit before this recording, and
I'm
it tastes it
excited.
has like an earthiness to it, and it's very citrusy.
Blood orange and cranberry cider.
Precisely why I picked it.
Yum.com. That sounds
Yes.
right up my alley.
I love the
Yeah,
back of the can. It
It's
says,
delicious.
"Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?"
Well, okay,
would.
because isn't Black Phillip the Vivitch?
Yes,
Yeah.
he is. I
I've
have a
never
tattoo of him
seen-
on my leg.
Oh,
Am I crazy? Does Emily have a tattoo of him too?
she got a couple.
Of Black Phillip?
No,
I've
just
seen
like, I
lots
don't
of
know,
Black
she-
Phillip tattoos.
I think she also has one. Cut it and smite me where I stand if she doesn't. But yeah,
Oh, I've had to crack mine on mic, but it's delicious.
I'll crack mine for
Thanks.
you
For both of
freaks at
us.
home who
Yeah.
want that.
I already cracked mine and poured it in the cup before this. Sorry. Can't do the can crack, but I did.
So good.
We've got some surprises though in store.
Yum yum yum.
It's like dry and sweet, and I can't tell
Yeah.
why.
That's kind of why I chose it. I liked the earthiness.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
earthy.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
I
yum-a-lish.
gave it a try and I was like, "That's it. That's the
Mhm.
one."
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm
that's
quite
not
pleased.
the only one.
Oh,
No spoilers. We'll get to that.
Today's episode's full of surprises.
We all came in my living room, aka the studio, with like a capricious, mischievous energy today. Like
Yeah.
we all have surprises, and I think it's gorgeous that we get to kind of slowly unleash those over the course of our
Over the
time
next
together.
90 minutes.
Dear listener, you will also be surprised.
Let's start with the first one, which is your game, in quotations, game.
Oh, is theater a game to you? Is acting a game to you?
Yes.
They call it
Mm.
acting, Gary.
That's what Shakespeare taught me.
So we'll get into this a bit, but I was seeing and reading that a lot of Blood Mountain, this album, is kind of based on the notion of the hero's journey, the monomyth, as it were.
Very Beowulf, very...
Yeah, very that. The Joseph Campbell sort of, it was like a book, right, of the same name, The Hero's Journey.
Yes,
And it kind of
yeah.
like outlines sort of all these steps that are used in traditional storytelling. And a lot of people, like Star Wars and whatever, like
Mm.
sort of use this format of the hero going out and returning and kind of completing this quest. So I felt inspired to sort of write a mini monomyth for us to do a dramatic reading of together. So we have our main character, Joey Progresso, who, Brady, I would like you to play. His lines
Okay.
are highlighted in yellow. And then we have Joey's friend Damon, the door guy, and Bruce Springsteen highlighted in blue. And Zach, I would like you to read those lines.
Okay.
If you can, kind of give a little stank for each of those
E-
characters.
Each one a different. Which
Just a
one? Which
different
one should I do
sneeze.
like Bruce Springsteen?
I would say the door guy.
Okay.
Just kidding. You can do Bruce Springsteen like Bruce Springsteen, and I'll read all the narration. But we're gonna see our hero Joey Progresso go on a mini hero's journey over the course of one night.
Yeah, Brady, have you ever done any acting?
Not since I was like 12.
It's a very
Perfect.
grounded part.
Okay.
It's
I can do grounded.
Yeah. It's Friday night, and Joey Progresso has nowhere to be. It's a rare occasion, and Joey blissfully sits at home, making his usual rounds, scrolling through different social feeds. Suddenly, something catches Joey's attention.
Wait a minute. Nobody told me a new venue had opened down the street from my apartment. There's a show tonight, and some of these bands seem pretty cool.
Joey pauses to think. Does he really want to sacrifice his night of rest and relaxation?
I mean, I don't have to check it out tonight. It's not like this place will close tomorrow. Plus, I brought a new pair of sweatpants. I have a chilled 7-year-old blank in the fridge. I need to catch up on the new season of Love is Blind. Nothing out in the world could be better than this night in.
Suddenly, Joey receives a text message.
Hey, man, did you see the new venue that opened up right by you? My brother's band is playing tonight. He said he had some extra spots on the guest list and a couple of spare drink tickets. You in?
Well, twist my arm. The wine will still be cold when I get home.
Joey arrives at the new venue. He reaches the front door and is greeted by the door guy.
I have to think about who this character is. What's his backstory? Why is he a door guy? Who is he? What are his aspirations?
He's the door guy. So, okay, just to shed some light in this part of the hero's journey, he's like the mystical help. He's like the person who's going to bestow the magical
The call to
item.
action.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's
Well,
the
the call
theme.
the call to action
okay.
is the text.
Okay.
This is sort of the mystery. He's like the mentor,
I
the
see.
mystical.
I see.
Yeah,
So he's like mysterious and wise, perhaps.
he's kind of wise,
Yeah.
but he's also the door guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, man. No, that's not him.
No, I like that. I like that choice.
Hey, man. You here for the show tonight? Can I see some ID?
Hey, yeah, I think I'm actually on the guest list, Joey Progresso.
Oh, hey. It's your lucky night, bro. Tonight, everyone in the guest list spots gets VIP wristbands. Here, give me your right wrist.
The VIP wristband shimmers and faintly buzzes as the door guy wraps it around Joey's wrist.
Is that too tight? Feel okay?
It's fine, man.
It was a little too tight.
So, that VIP wristband will get you into the VIP lounge during the show. We've got our best bartender serving up there, and the crowd's usually pretty chill. Keep in mind, though, these are very important people. Don't be surprised if you get starstruck.
Sure, thanks. Come on, dude, this is Albany Park. Who would I see? Tommy Kessler?
Joey crosses the threshold and enters the venue. Immediately, he is overwhelmed. The place is packed, cacophonous, and worst of all, he has no idea where to put his coat.
Ugh. Let's find this lounge. You better have coat hooks.
Joey wanders through the venue, looking for any indication of a VIP area. He squeezes through the crowd.
Sorry, pardon. I just scooched past you here.
Perfect. The crowd seems impossible to pass. In the distance, Joey sees a glowing neon sign with 3 letters. VIP. Joey remembers his glowing wristband and is filled with a newfound sense of importance.
Excuse me! I need some room! I'm a very important person! Please! Move aside! I need some room! I need some room! I need to pass!
The crowd, in awe, parts like the Red Sea. Joey walks through triumphantly, his VIP wristband aglow. He heads upstairs to the VIP lounge where he sees his friend Damon.
Joey! I'm glad you made it out, dude. How great is this? I had no idea about the whole VIP thing.
It's a little overwhelming, honestly. Must be the grand opening crowd.
Sure, man. We'll just lean into it. I know you've got it in you. Why don't you grab a drink? Here's a couple drink tickets. My brother's band is kick-ass. We'll have a great night.
Joey and Damon watch the opening band, drinks in hand. Joey relishes in the VIP section, feeling very important.
By the way, man, I'm really just here to see my brother's band, so I'll probably head out after that.
Wait, what? I mean, I get it, but you want to walk out on a VIP section and free drinks? Why not take advantage? It's Friday.
No, for sure. If you keep hanging out, we could grab a drink somewhere else. It's just super loud. I can't hear anything really. Plus, the headliner isn't going on till like 10:30.
I really want to see this night through. Get the full VIP experience. I'm going to grab another drink. Let me think about it.
Joey gets to the bar, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees none other than Bruce Springsteen. He tries to play it cool, but it's Bruce Springsteen.
Hey, yeah, I am. Nice to meet a fan.
This is crazy. I loved Born in the USA. I used to listen to it all the time to pump me up before a night out. If you don't mind, could I ask you for some advice?
I can't guarantee it'll be good, but go for it.
My friend's being a real stick in the mud. I dragged myself over here giving up a perfectly good night in, and now he doesn't even want to stay for the headliner. There's no point in staying in VIP alone, right? I mean, I'd look silly being up here all by myself. I'm not even sure if I am very important. I should probably call it quits after his brother's band set.
My friend, there's no way in hell you should leave this experience prematurely. I have a feeling great things are in store for you. Hell, you might be a very important person after all. Here, take this.
Bruce Springsteen pulls something out of his jacket pocket and gives it to Joey.
Whoa. Is this?
It is. The red baseball cap from my back jean pocket on the album cover of Born in the USA. You're a very important person now, Joey. Go enjoy the show.
Joey joins Damon, hat on head, ready to enjoy the whole show. After Damon's brother's band set, Damon looks at Joey one last time with sad eyes.
You sure you don't want to come with me and grab a drink somewhere?
No, thanks. I've got a feeling something bigger is in store for me tonight. I'll text you later.
The headliner set is incredible. Bruce Springsteen buys Joey 3 more drinks. Joey crowd surfs. He gets a free t-shirt from the headliner. The band gives him a shout out on stage. This has been the best night ever, and Joey feels very important. However, like all good things, the night has come to an end. All the lights turn on in the venue. The sound guy starts wrapping cables, giving a look to folks still lingering.
It can't be over. I have to go back to my apartment after this incredible night? Will I ever have an experience like this again?
The sound guy sees Joey still hanging around in the VIP section and gives an apologetic look. It's time to go. Joey heads toward the front door, giving the door guy one last goodbye.
Have a good night, man. Get home safe.
Joey walks back to his apartment, feeling more important than he ever has. He gets to his apartment, unlocks his front door, and plops down on the couch. Smiling, he cues up an old favorite song.
This is the best piece of fiction we've ever created.
I'm feeling like Joey right now.
Hell yeah! Thank you so much for humoring me. Now, listeners, this is your call to action. If you would like to do a literary analysis on what we've just done and outline the hero's journey within that piece, I don't know, we'll give you a free t-shirt or something. Shall we take a quick break before getting into the album? Okay, great. I'm freaking out. Just
That
kidding.
comes later.
I'm not freaking out anymore. I'm normal.
I'm good.
Yes, Aaron. I'm really interested in Brady's background with this record and everything.
Yes.
Like I said,
Oh,
I'm also really interested in how good of a time you had.
So that's a great
Our
question.
very first metal record on the podcast.
Yeah. So it's no secret to listeners of the program or people in my life that I perhaps am not the target audience for this record. I'm a pop girly. I like a lot of pop. I like a lot of hip hop. I have been listening to a lot of video game soundtracks and bossa nova. I keep it pretty light. I keep it pretty light and bouncy.
Nice.
But I will die on this hill. I will give everything that is brought to this podcast my absolute best listening ear. I will come at everything with an open heart. And so I came at this with an open heart. And it, of course, is a bit louder and a bit heavier than what I'm used to. But I thought the storytelling of it and sort of the ideation and the concept of it was fun. I think that is what really kept me in the record.
Cool.
Yeah. Did I take a break 7 songs in and go get a CBD seltzer? Yeah. Yeah. And did I come back refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to take notes? Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? Were you familiar with this record or this band?
I thought Mastodon was an 80s band, like an 80s and 90s band.
Oh.
I was so blown away. I was like, oh, this is 2002. This is their third record in 2002. They started in 99. I was like, I thought they were up there with like Ozzy and all that, and like they're way more classic. So that was cool to learn. I was definitely aware of Mastodon, but I wasn't like I couldn't have told you like a track or a record.
Sure.
Yeah. I had a great time. I had a great time with the hero's journey of it all. I think concept albums are so fun, especially done this well. Brady, whenever you said this was like one of your favorite records when you were a kid. How young?
Yeah. Well, this album came out when it's 2006. I was 5 years old, but I was made aware of it like I don't know, a year after.
Okay.
Oh
were
my
you
gosh.
aware of the concept of it?
Not really. I mean, like I
Oh.
picked up on something happening throughout the album. Like I'd heard the album in full plenty of times. Like it was a good road trip album.
Sure.
Like this one, 'cause
Sure.
our folks. This was actually the one that my folks got introduced to the band with. So we have a family friend, Chris Gerasi. Love you, Chris, if you're listening. He sent this album to my parents and was like, "You should check this band out," and they were hooked. This is like right up their alley, and
Wow.
Oh yeah.
the hookiness to their songwriting, as chaotic as it is,
Uh-huh.
there's still elements where it's like you could see somebody like jamming this on the radio.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those kinds of albums, and this album just goes really far back for me because this was one of those ones where it's like I was just so blown away by the musicianship, despite being like 5 years old, not really being able to understand the concept of musicianship. Listening to this one so many times growing up and like learning drums to it, like that was
Oh my god.
big part of like my playing is their drummer Bron Daler.
Damn, yeah.
He's like a hero of mine.
Cool.
Super cool dude.
Good
and
pick for a drum hero. Yeah.
yeah, and just the whole the chaotic, the controlled chaos of it.
Yeah, that's a great way to
is
put it.
very like it's so impressive, and this only being their third album, and like them shooting for such huge highs with it is just like that much more impressive to me.
It is such like a massive undertaking of a record. There's so much
So many
muchness
notes.
to it, which I could see like as a kid being really excited by.
It's a good ADD album.
Sure,
Yeah.
for
Like if you get
Yeah.
distracted easily, this is a great album.
Every
for that.
6 seconds is something like to look
There's a
at.
drum fill. There's a change. There's like some sort of like chorus. Every other like 15 seconds, there's something else going on.
Yeah.
It's just that, but it all still tied together so seamlessly and
Yeah.
so well too. Like
Yeah.
it's a really well put together album. And this is coming from a band that had like just hit like a super huge high with the album before it,
Mm.
and then continued sustaining that after the fact too.
Yeah.
And I personally, I'm a huge fanboy of this band. I don't think they have a bad album.
Mm. And usually the third one in a band's discography is a bad album.
Usually,
Because you've heard the thing where it's like you write your first record your whole life,
Yeah.
and your next one in 6 months.
there is, and then
It's a
they
sort
didn't
of-
have a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
Leviathan is also a huge triumph for
Yeah.
them, and then for them to just keep going with this one and go even further and like branch out with like there's like synth passages and like weird little
A lot of
sonic
stuff.
like little like sonic thumbprints of like what the hell is that I just heard in my
Yeah.
headphones. That there's a lot of that over the whole album that I really admire.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and that probably influences your music, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Like not even like I played another band called Pray for Death with my dad. It's like sludge metal stuff.
Cool.
Mm.
It's like a duo, and a big influence on my playing is their drummer. So like I'm always like just flying all over the kit when I'm playing. and
For
stuff.
sure.
Yeah, and like also the synth stuff kind of, although that was a little more my mom's doing. With a lot of her interests, it's still being present in like stuff that my dad listened to.
Mm.
Just made me that much more interested in it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah,
Hell
so cool.
yeah.
A couple little fun things I wanted to point out before we get into the tracks is Blood Mountain is a real mountain.
Yes.
It's
Where
also the
at?
highest peak in the Appalachian Trail in Georgia, which is where the band is from, if I'm not mistaken.
true.
So that's cool.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's like you would think it's just a mystical
Nope.
blood mountain, but it's actually
Real mountain.
also a real mountain.
It actually, the name comes from, I'm pretty sure it was a World War I battle, or maybe it was before that. There was a really vicious battle between Native Americans and U.S. forces, and that's why it
Oh.
has and like the earth around the
Oh.
mountain has like a reddish, orangey tinge to it, and that's why it's called Blood Mountain.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
That's even more context
Heavy.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Goodness.
Heavy.
Yeah, and the bassist Troy Sanders said in an interview talking about how it's about climbing up a mountain, but different things can happen when you're stranded up in a mountain in the woods, and you're lost, you're starving, hallucinations, running into strange creatures. It's like a whole struggle to paraphrase that quote.
It is.
And
Mhm.
so more in the hero's journey there, but also like a real journey up a mountain.
Right.
Very real. Very
I-
mountainy.
Also saw that quote and of course like saw when I was sort of doing like my intro research for the record, and like I would agree, yes, this person like is climbing up a mountain and they're like dealing with that and they encounter like strange creatures. But that's like such a simple way to put all
yeah.
the shit that happens in this record.
Yeah, like,
Like-
it gets a little muddied. I feel like at certain points, but it's still like they never stop climbing the mountain.
Hey, and we should all
that
strive.
concept is never lost.
Yeah. But yeah.
I'm really excited to poke your brain, Brady, because I would like read the lyrics and like try to understand what's going on, and then read the Genius annotations for
Yeah, classic. And go, huh.
or some other forums on the internet for like
Yeah.
like what this album is supposed to be about, and
Mm.
I'm like, I don't know.
It gets a little
Some
loose
of
in
it's of a
spots.
stretch,
Yeah,
some of it's
it's
like
not one of their more straight because they have a few concept albums. They've got Leviathan, they've got Crack the Sky, Remission, kind of, and this one. And this one is definitely one of the looser concept albums where it's like
Mhm.
there is a story throughout, but it's not really super apparent. So I feel like the use of like kind of having that looseness
Mhm.
adds to the benefit of it. Like you get I think you can kind of get different interpretations out of it for sure.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I really like about it personally. Like it's not as clean cut as like the one before or after it. It's just somewhere in the middle, and it just
Mhm.
kind of lets you pick your own meaning out of it.
Choose your own adventure.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Like go to page
choose your own
64.
hero adventure.
You've been attacked by a Sasquatch.
Right.
I'm excited to talk about
Turn to
Sasquatch.
page 47. Shall we get into these potatoes?
Yes.
I think so.
Track number 1, The Wolf is Loose. The wolf's out of the bag on this
The
one.
bag's not in the river.
You really know exactly what you're getting in this first one. It really sets the scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This album really like hits the ground running. I said these drums are nutso butso. Like it's just so impressive. I kind of just want to like play the first little bit
Please.
of like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
the record opens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not
Here
much
we
to say
are.
to that. That's a killer opener.
Yeah.
That is a way to kick off an album. I've actually seen them do that a few times. It's always great.
Oh.
Start the show with that one.
That one, I saw them at the Aragon in like 2017. That was my first time seeing them since my first time seeing them.
Mhm.
And
Oh, okay.
I saw them. So the first time I saw them was Mayhem Festival 2008. Got to meet them. They were still on that tour.
Wow.
Mm.
They were super nice dudes. They held the line for us. They saw a couple kids and their parents in the line. They were like, "Hold the line! Don't cut it off at them. Cut it off after them."
Wow.
And they chilled out. They talked with us. They were like, I don't really remember much of it, but I was just like, they were a band that like we had like the home recordings of them, like filming them, like messing around on tour and stuff.
Oh.
And
Cool.
like before this album had come out, and so I was just like, oh man, the guys from the DVD are real. And like I went and like shook the hands of their girlfriends at the time without even realizing, oh, they're not in the band. And yeah, I still have that. Like they signed a poster, and I still have that up in my room.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was my first time seeing them, and they played this. I think they opened with this actually, and then they played at the Aragon again, and like the way the crowd like just whipped into shape was just
Hell yeah.
so fun. It was just like that was like 2018 and then 2017, so it's like 9 years apart of seeing them, and a lot of growing up in between, and just getting to see them do that one again and actually being able to remember it that time was just
Right.
like that much better.
Yeah, and like participate in a whole new way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like actually being in that crowd, and
Yeah.
like we were like I don't know a couple rows back at the Aragon, and Aragon kind of sucks now, but like that was one of the good shows I saw before it started to suck.
Hell yeah.
Also, props to your parents for being so cool to take
Oh,
you
yeah.
out.
That was
still like such a cool
That was
show.
my first show ever, like first proper show. Like, technically not. It was my second show ever. The first show I really saw was the Wiggles.
That
The original
I get
Wiggles
that.
lineup.
I
Still
get
props
that.
to your parents.
Original lineup
Original
is
lineup.
huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And-
fruit salad to Wolf is Loose is such
Yeah,
a
that is a leap.
Definitely.
So the second, so that we wanted to see Slipknot because we were big Slipknot fans, but Mastodon were also playing that festival too. So we saw them earlier in the day. We took a little breather in between the bands, then we saw Slipknot that night. But Mastodon that day were just like that made us fans for life.
Wow. Yeah,
it was awesome.
magical.
They were so cool.
Dang, that's rules.
Yeah, that rips.
And so you think, like, as a set opener, as an album opener, like, this is the move. This is the way to do it.
This is. It's hard to top this one. Like
Sure.
I don't know, something about it, like just the vocal harmonies, the way the song changes, the frantic energy of it,
Yeah.
the kicking the door down way of it. Like they always excel with their album openers, but this one in particular is just I have a soft spot for.
Of course. Well, this
So-
is the call to action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music video is also
The
great,
hero
too.
of the gods is the first line. Like,
Mhm.
we know we're talking about
There's
a hero.
no way to top that.
It's pretty epic.
It is.
It's lay epic.
I refrain from using epic, but this is truly one of those instances where it's
I
like,
do
this is
think it's appropriate.
an epic triumph of an album.
Yeah.
Well, it's like an epic as a noun versus
Yeah,
an epic
exactly.
as a modifier.
Yeah.
I'd say both could be true.
Both
here.
could be true. Both could be and are.
That
is-
part.
Wait, so is this one? I was trying to like. I thought I saw themes of werewolf. Is he a werewolf, or is he's getting
Let's
attacked by
talk
a
about
werewolf?
this.
I'm not sure about. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I
That's
made a note about
great.
this.
The werewolfness of it all.
I made a note about this. I'm not really sure. It's not very clear.
Yeah.
There's wolves involved. He is probably a werewolf, but it's really not. I even in my notes, I'm like, is he a werewolf?
Right.
Question
And
mark?
I was wondering the same thing. I was like, is he like quite literally like the full moon is there and I'm gonna like grow fucking fangs and shit? Or is it like a metaphorical werewolf?
I don't know.
And
I
it's
don't
like
know.
Yeah,
I'm
there's-
locked into
I
battle.
can't really tell.
Yeah.
It's not obvious, but that's kind of what I like about it.
Yeah.
Because I thought like maybe like there was something on the mountain that was going to cure his lycanthropy, like it did the. I'm not even going to clean take that. Lycanthropy.
Wow.
But I don't know. Maybe he's fighting a werewolf.
It's not obvious, but again, that's one of the things I like about it.
Inside of you is two wolves.
One of them is looking for the crystal skull. The other one is driving through the Wendy's.
I think that's a perfect segue. That's a perfect segue to track number 2, Crystal Skull, which is kind of like
The first single.
it is the first
It
single.
is, yeah, great single.
Yeah. And this is sort of setting like, you know how in a yoga class you like set your intention at the beginning of practice?
This is it.
This is
that.
us setting our intention.
Yes.
Yeah.
to
The
climb mountain.
intention being, I'm getting to the top of this mountain and I'm going to bring this crystal skull to the top of the mountain.
Gotta find it first.
Okay, so the crystal skull isn't on top of the mountain already.
No.
You gotta
He
get
gotta
has
find it. Gotta bring it to the top.
Yep.
You gotta carry Madame Mazzaroni. I'm not even drunk. I'm just bad at words today.
Who are you talking about?
The girl from Holes.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Madame Zeroni.
Madame Zeroni.
6 feet wide, 6 feet deep.
Thank you.
I wonder
Brady.
if that's how big the cave that the skull is in is.
I don't know. That's not a very big cave.
No, it's not.
That'd be a really easy skull to find if it was that size.
It's just like at the
It's a
bottom
big
of
Yeah,
a
it's just
little-
sitting there, like it's
crater.
just shining,
It's like, oh, I don't have to
emanating
work very hard
light.
at all.
Where did I find this? This is another live staple of theirs.
Oh, yeah.
I have a little fun. There's a little background about this song. That drum intro was recorded on 50-gallon oil drums.
Whoa,
Oh, shit.
We have to play
That
that. That's so cool.
Ron Daler, their drummer, I believe he either borrowed and said he would credit the guy. He like found this dude on the street who had these oil drums, and he was like, "Can I borrow these? I'm recording down the street."
Uh-huh.
And he did. So he did.
Huh.
Sorry, that was not good.
50 ground.
Yeah.
I love
oil
this.
50-gallon
drums.
oil drums that he just layered over and over again with like the recording stuff, and like used a couple different methods to record them with.
Uh-huh.
And just like he wanted this big kind of tribal sounding.
Yeah, how do you
Intro.
how do you mic an oil drum? Like, is it a Beta 52?
Right,
Like,
that's what I'm
where
wondering,
do you-
yeah.
What's the technique? Where does it go?
Right.
Yeah, inside or next to it.
I bet a
don't know.
contact
Do you-
mic would
do
be
you hold
sick.
up, do you hold them up to it? Yeah, a contact mic would be cool. Yeah.
Well, now I got to hear it.
Let's listen.
You
to
said
that
it's just
intro.
like the intro, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like oil drums.
I dig it.
I almost wish it went on a little bit longer. And it kicks right in.
I mean, yeah. That's the thing about this record is it did kind of at times with intros or little musical breaks or whatever, like just totally deviate.
Oh, yeah.
Stylistically. Which I was like, I don't know.
There's a lot
I think
of that.
kept me
There's
in
a lot
it.
of ear candy. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of like different little things going on with like between songs, but like there's still part of the song.
Exactly.
There's a lot of that across like most of this album, which
Yeah.
like it just adds that much more like character to it. There's so much going on with like outside of just the four dudes
Yeah.
in the band, like just like the use of like organs or like synths or like just like, again, oil drums.
Right.
Where
right.
would you even think of that?
It's very third album. They're like, oh, we got a budget now.
We got yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like they
Yeah.
had some money.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, let's do a little something different with it. Like let's just throw a little couple things in there.
Yeah.
Let's do a
As
little
a treat.
something
As a
kooky.
little treat.
Let's have fun.
Brett Hines, who just was dismissed or fired or quit, I don't know. One of the core members just left the band like a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Oh, dang.
wow.
Yeah. And he had been in the band for 25 years.
Mhm.
But Bill and Brent, they're the guitar players, and they're dueling ways of like writing songs and like their differences in playing. Like Brent was a banjo player before he was a guitar player.
That's
Mhm.
very
can hear
Georgia
that.
of them.
You can hear that. It's very, very Georgia.
Yeah.
The way that they like work off of each other's riffs and ideas and like their playing styles is one of the best parts about Mastodon. Like,
Uh-huh.
they just have such a distinct sonic identity between both of them, and when they merge together, when their powers combine, they become Mastodon.
When the two heroes join forces.
Yeah, and they have it's part of their signature sound is like the distinct different style that Brent has that he brought to the band for so much of their music
Mhm.
early on. Like he had less of a hand in their stuff later in their career.
Mhm.
He kind of had a foot out of the door later on, which like that's okay. I
Mm-hmm.
don't judge. The music was still good, so it's like, but I'm a fanboy, so some people disagree, some people don't think,
Well,
but
they're
I
wrong.
do, and exactly they're wrong. So yeah, that just distinct sonic identity they have, like the little southern twang, but not in like a Pantera way where it's like this riff sounds racist. It's like no, this riff sounds cool.
Yeah.
Not racist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's got some interesting stank on it.
It's got a stank on it, but in like
But like wouldn't be in Dukes of Hazzard.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great
they're
way
not
to put it.
they're not exactly they're not being Pantera about it. And I'm
Leave it
not a
at that.
Pantera hater. Like I like some Pantera, but some things can stay in the 90s.
Yes.
That is fair and valid.
I don't have a timestamp for that solo, but maybe we can find it real fast. Just to
Yeah.
hear those dueling guitar licks. So like stoner metally sometimes. this
Very
record.
stoner metal. Yeah, they get some stoner labeling sometimes, which I'm sure they are. Hey, me too. Where do you even think of this? And the fun thing is about Brent's playing, he's been very candid about this. He generally first takes solos.
That's
Wow.
cuckoo.
He just walks up with an idea and he just goes for it. And usually that's what he keeps.
Dang.
He's that good.
That's crazy
He's
sauce.
that good. They're that good a set of musicians where they can just do that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Imagine how much planning you would have to like how much like you just,
Zach, you have such
how
a
well
look
you
on your
have
face.
to know
Oh,
your instrument
well,
to do that.
I was just gonna bring
I
a
can't even
comparison
first
to
take stuff.
jazz.
Yeah.
Of metal and
They have
jazz.
a-
Sure,
they
absolutely.
get jazz comparisons
the
all the time.
virtuistic
Yeah.
and like the complexity of
Yes.
I don't know if they're like using modes in the solo, but the fact that that's improvised, just
Yeah.
like jazz is, I'm like,
Right.
dang.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
right.
And it's funny you mentioned that because they like Braun, their drummer, does have a lot of jazz influence in his
Sure,
playing. Like,
yeah,
a lot of his
yeah.
heroes like Buddy Rich and like Max Roach and
Uh-huh.
stuff, and they take influence from everywhere. Like they're not just like metal chugga chugga dudes. Like they listen to everything,
Yeah.
and
I
I respect
respect
that
that.
so much because they. I know lots of metal guys that just stick with metal. It's like there's so much other good music out there.
I completely
It is
agree.
one of those genres.
Like I'm kind of a metal guy, but I don't say I'm a metal head. Like I just happen to lean towards like heavier stuff just because that's what I like. But
Yeah.
I have appreciation for jazz. I have appreciation for like synth pop stuff. Like
Totally.
there's so much other stuff out there that and you can hear it in their music specifically. Like there's so much influences going on with their playing. Like it makes them so distinct as a band.
Hell yeah. And the world is so interesting and exciting because of the plethora of art that is out there and that we can
Yeah.
Oh,
pull
yeah.
from. Like I really respect work like this where like it is clearly rooted in something, but it's kind of a collage at the same time.
Oh yeah. And I think that's part of how they got so successful is because they don't just stick with one kind of thing. They've
Yeah.
always been a band that never does the same thing on every record. Like they always do. It's still Mastodon, but they always do something a little bit different just for their own sake because they want to.
Sure,
and that's
yeah.
part of why I love them so much.
Ugh. Okay, I think the start of the next track, Sleeping Giant, is another sort of illustrative example of this
Mhm.
because the first like minute and a half is very like calm before the storm.
They're like, don't wake the giant. Shh. The giant's
Exactly.
a volcano. Don't wake it up.
Don't
sleeping.
step too loud.
Yeah.
And like this
so
is just
great.
chill
beautiful.
vibes.
Yeah.
This was the first solo written by their other guitar player, Bill Keller. And you can hear it because he's not flying all over the place. He's just very meditative with it. I love that layer of like the 12-string acoustic under all this too. It's
Yes.
beautiful. I wish they still played this. They don't play it.
Oh no.
Oh, come on, Braun.
And this feels like Ozzy right there. You
A little
kind of
bit.
feel.
There's some
Ozzy in there,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a drama
Black
to
Sabbath,
it
yeah.
that I
There
really
is, yeah. They have a lot of Sabbath in them, that's great.
is. I doubt it. The actual Blood Mountain is probably not a dormant volcano, right?
No, it's not.
Unless it's really, really dormant.
Like
Yeah, I
all
think
the
it's
way
just-
at the core of
yeah.
the earth,
Yeah.
dormant.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a Yellowstone where it's like waiting to blow.
Sure.
It's just a mountain.
Fair enough. But yeah, our so to plug everyone back into sort of the narrative that's happening here, our hero is like still climbing up this mountain, but the mountain is actually a volcano.
Yeah,
This guy's like having a lot of trouble.
he's having a really bad day.
And it's only track 3. Like he's gonna get hit with so much shit. It's crazy. It's like, have you ever seen that like that meme where what's a good example of this? I mean, it applies to a bunch of different shows, but like it would be like a specific character's like subplot during the show, and it's that picture of SpongeBob where he's like in a dark, scary hallway and he's looking frightened.
exactly like that.
Like that's just kind of the whole sitch.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He's
It's just
in the dark.
SpongeBob being scared.
Yeah. I rocked with it though. I liked the drama here. I liked the volcano of it all.
Big
and I liked
song.
that little like room to breathe at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like that really like pretty
it
acoustic
really
guitar
like
and...
because it hits so hard at first.
Exactly.
With two really heavy fucking songs.
Yeah.
So like getting that breather into this song that's a little bit more long, a little more expansive,
Yeah.
a little more spacey, almost prog in ways. It really it adds to the pacing of the album. So honestly, sometimes I kind of forget it's so early in the album just because it's such a big it turns into such a big moment on the album.
It's so meaty for track
yeah.
3.
Oh yeah. And it only gets better.
Yeah, which member cited Genesis as one of their influences?
Braun, the
okay,
drummer,
yeah,
yeah.
that checks out.
Yeah,
There's
a lot of Genesis
some
influence.
Genesis.
Yeah.
I actually want to play a little bit of the Genesis-ness.
Please.
It's at 4:30.
I had that exact same
Um,
timestamp.
The guitar, I forget the classical term for it, but it's like where you take a motif and then you just double it.
Yeah.
So it's
like
yeah,
one,
there's a
two-
lot of that.
yeah,
They love doing that. Or it's like they'll do something and they'll bring it up higher on the fretboard.
Yeah.
And then they'll just keep doing that.
And so it kind of like tumbles into itself, like
Exactly.
Yes.
like lava erupting from a
Yeah.
dormant volcano,
Yeah.
or like rocks rolling down in the avalanche.
Precisely.
It's chaotic. It's hectic.
Yeah,
it's, frantic. insane.
Yeah, it's so
So cool.
fun.
It's like falling into itself. It's
Totally.
so wackadoodle.
That's part of that's. Oh,
I dig
yeah.
it.
That's the charm.
It's like
Yeah.
thinking there's one more step at the end of the stairs.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. It's totally that feeling. Yeah.
Oh my God. You're on fire with this. Shall we move on to track number 4?
Yeah.
Capillarian Crest.
I love Googling
Another
words
single.
whenever I'm doing research for this show.
Lifelong learner.
And capillarian's not a word anywhere else except this record.
Nope.
Yeah.
No one
It's a
else.
good made-up. That's a great made-up word, though.
Because are
Well,
you familiar with like capillaries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're
So
saying
it's
this
like-
is
There's like heart analogies in the song and stuff. I'm not really. This song's a weird one. Where it's like, it's one of the first times it's like I'm not really sure where this sits in the story, but it's in there,
It's in there.
and it's just such like a feat of their musicality too.
Totally.
Like, it like I couldn't picture this album without this song.
Sure.
On it. It's a very essential kind of track,
Yeah.
and just the way they all kind of shine in their own ways on it too is just such a cool, crazy moment on this album. Also, got to see them do this one too. That was also awesome.
Sick. Yeah, this was a single, right? This was the second single.
Second. Imagine this being a single.
That's
Yeah,
what?
it's so
wacky.
proggy.
What? How is this a single?
They're
But
really
I love that they had it as a single too.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Sure.
just it's such a shining moment for all of the guys, and it's just like, just the again with that like hybrid picking banjo playing across the whole song, like even that
Yeah.
hook, like the do like that. I don't know how anybody does that, let alone them. Like
Yeah.
that's just. My notes for this song is I don't really have any.
Yeah.
It's just one of those like you just gotta listen to it.
You just gotta
get
vibe out to it, yeah.
Good. It's just good and proggy. I want to hear the guitar part you're talking about with like knowing the banjo picking in my
Yeah.
head now.
That
Because I didn't know that
very
before,
intro,
but it
yeah.
makes sense.
That very first, like the first few seconds of that song, that whole intro. Again with that jazz influence all over the
Yeah.
drums. Again, like laying heavy on the ride, but still kind of flying over the snare and still keeping the something on the hi-hat. I don't know if it's the
Yeah.
beat, but it's something.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Keeping
covered.
things, it's
it's
keeping
covered.
things in place.
I was trying so hard to count it. It's alternating bars of something.
Exactly,
I think it's like
yeah.
a bar of 7 and 8 or like a bar of 5 and something else. And I can't get it.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of songs.
We've been bested.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the magic.
I
of them.
gave it like 3 listens trying to figure it out. I was like, I'm tired of
What?
counting
Yeah,
to 7.
exactly,
I don't want to count to 7 anymore. I can't figure out what happens after 7.
I don't know what's going on anymore. That's exactly.
Oh my
It's like
God.
about this whole album. It's like, I don't know what's
didn't-
happening, but it's cool.
And I didn't look it up. I was like, I'm not gonna give it. I'm not gonna look it
No.
up either.
Somebody would be wrong anyways. It'd be some Redditor trying to
Yeah.
be like, actually, it's in like 16/8, and it's like, no, that's not at all.
It's actually a waltz.
I'm just gonna like it without knowing exactly what it is. I think that's fine. I don't know what capillarian is. I don't know what type signature it is, but I like it.
I'm just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Is that too much to ask?
We can go for the next song too.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Can
It's
you
'Cause there's
see the
not much to say
future?
about it. I can, and I can see that this
Circle
song
of Sasquatch.
kicks ass.
So this, to relate it back, I'm doing the fucking literary analysis for them, but to relate it back to Joey Goes to the Gig, this is our doorman.
This is our
Yeah.
doorman.
Oh, yeah.
Sasquatch
He
is
is the
our
doorman.
doorman.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the Sasquatch would kind of sound like our doorman.
I agree. And so, who wants to explain, like, what a Sasquatch is?
I would
can.
love Brady to, yeah.
I
Yeah,
can.
please.
Yeah. A Sasquatch is a Cyclops Sasquatch.
Uh-huh.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Cyclops Sasquatch that can see into the future, and he predicts that the hero's going to be going through some shit.
And he's like, you're looking in
He's
the
like,
past,
"You're look-"
brother.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you're about to go through the ringer, dude.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of warns them about the dangers ahead. That's kind of the whole thing of the song. It's a pretty heavy number.
Yeah.
They brought out a Sasquatch the last time I saw him.
I was gonna say, I think it's a thing they do.
They
right?
do have a Sasquatch.
You
they
can
bring
buy like
out.
a
Yeah,
plushie
you're
of him.
looking at it. Yeah.
Show me, show me, show me.
Yeah.
He's a guy. He's like
a guy. You can buy a
he's
plush
in
of the
lore.
Sasquatch.
Yo!
He's got a light up
Sasquatch,
eyeball.
Yeah.
That's not what I was
That's
picturing.
merch
Right?
there.
I like it though.
Yeah.
That's immediate merch. Yeah.
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 That plushie is only like $45 on
I
the
know.
Mastodon Rock store.
Hey, you're making money.
So did he exist in the lore before this record?
Nope.
Or okay, so he
With this
was-
album, he came with it.
This record was
Yeah.
the invention
But
of.
the Cyclops or the Sasquatch, excuse me. That's racist, probably. That's very new. The bringing out of the Sasquatch is only one they started doing on recent tours.
Interesting.
Not the. I think they brought it out. The last time I saw them before last year was out in Hammond, Indiana, with Gojira.
Mm.
One of the best shows I ever saw. That was a really great
Oh,
show.
yeah.
And I was like right up front, and they brought out the Sasquatch during that song, and he just like kind of paraded around on stage.
Oh, it was like a guy.
It was a guy in a big suit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Rules.
It was like 10 feet tall. It was huge.
and
It
he's
was big
just like,
dude.
I was about to say,
Yeah, exactly. He was just walking around like
That's
that.
awesome.
It's kind of like, hey, I'm a Sasquatch.
I wanted to crowd surf, but you said it's big. That's my bad idea.
Yeah, a little too big for that. I think that suit would get ripped apart. Souvenir.
Souvenir, I got his eye.
I got his eyeball. I got his finger.
I got a
That
handful
suit
of
was
hair.
expensive. I see what I wonder how many other suits they had made.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
wonder.
great
Probably just the
question.
one. That seems expensive to do. Custom fabrication is not cheap.
So does the Sasquatch like give him good advice in this mission? Or
well,
It's not
really?
very clear.
Well, and that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I have a timestamp for this of sort of my understanding of like when sort of the Sasquatch's message to the
Yes.
hero is. I'm just gonna play that. Like, see if you can
Oh, yeah,
decipher this at
straight,
home
straight from his.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
from his
From
eyeball.
the Sasquatch's mouth.
Oh shit! What if the Birchmen?
We'll get to that.
Oh boy!
I'm so glad you picked the robot voice portion.
Yeah.
They've done this on a couple other albums.
Uh-huh.
It's not always the Sasquatch, but
Sure.
they've done the robot voice a few different times, and this was the first time they did robot voice.
Oh.
And so I'm actually very glad you feel like that's the Sasquatch speaking, because that sounds right.
That's-
that would
it
be
feels
a
like an
Sasquatch.
omen.
It feels ominous.
Yeah.
It's got a I don't know, something about the eeriness and the way it sits in the mix of the song and the
Yeah.
And it's
like
the drummer,
it's just
right?
it's
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's what he's credited on Genius, but I'm not
Okay.
for sure.
Well, that's cool. If that's true. I have no idea. Somebody can verify that. Yeah, that's just like that would be the Sasquatch. So that sounds like one.
If like that's how they were communicating to me, though, I'd be like, "Come again?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Can you,
something
like,
I would
speak
hear
up?
in my head.
This sounds important. Can we maybe?
This
Can
was
you- can you
psychically
write that down?
contacted. Yeah, can you put it down on an iPhone now, please?
So it only makes sense after you talk to the Sasquatch to have instrumental after. 'Cause
Yeah.
You got to think about all the shit he
You
said.
need to
Right.
process that.
yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to go into Blade Catcher,
We
or do we
can,
want to take a
yeah.
little
Yeah.
break Rooney
Yeah.
first?
Let's do Blade Catcher real fast.
I
and
feel
then
like
we'll get
Blade
back.
Catcher is kind of the bad trip song. Whatever our protagonist was tripping on earlier, because I feel like he was tripping on something.
Rocks, lava.
Probably.
Rocks.
Well, besides that, like, I don't know.
Not
Maybe
literally
he
tripping.
ate something along the way,
Perhaps.
and it just
a
didn't
rogue
sit right.
mushroom.
He got some sort of food poisoning, and that sounds like Blade Catcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, okay, I have a note about this. The first 17 seconds of this song are like nice and mathy and chill. And then it goes
Kind of sounds like SpongeBob
nuts.
music. Yeah,
Yeah.
it goes from like SpongeBob twangy background music to like just
Yeah.
you don't even. I don't even. You got just play the clip. I don't even know. I can't even describe it.
Makes you want to call a trusted adult.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, Squidward. Lagoon.
Meanwhile, at Goo Lagoon.
It almost sounds like screaming.
It kind of sounds like Donald Duck a little bit. Robot. It's like Donald Duck through a mode.
Yeah. Like while he's fighting with someone.
Exactly.
This gives very fight scene to me.
And there are famously no lyrics.
Yes.
I mean, like, you can kind of hear, like, something, and it sounds like a vocal processor, but you can't even really be sure.
I mean, whatever Donald Duck was doing,
Yeah.
it had to. Was that a person? I can't even tell.
I thought I read somewhere someone had a theory about what it meant in the story, but
It's all a
even know.
theory.
it's all
It's
yeah.
all theory.
I don't know. Donald Duck is just as good a theory as whatever they had.
Donald Duck and SpongeBob. That's our canon.
Yeah, that rips. I need to drink another hard cider about that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say before we do our drink break, what did the Sasquatch say at the end of their message? Beware the birchmen. We'll be right back.
So what is a birchman?
I'm gonna be real. I don't know.
I think it's a tree person.
I'm sure that's the answer, but it's not, once again, it's not very clear.
Okay, I want to ask you this question. How, I don't know if invested is the right word, but like, how much do you think the lore, and I'm using air quotes here, impacts someone's enjoyment of the album? Like, if you're a Mastodon fan, do you think people are caring more about well, obviously they're going to care about the musicality of it, but like, do people like follow this story? I guess is my question.
On Blood Mountain, not so much. I feel like it's not as clear cut as Leviathan or Crack the Sky, its
Sure.
predecessor and follow up.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean people don't like it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, people still love this album. Like I definitely do. And as I've made clear,
Of course.
as I made it very apparent,
Sure.
I'm a huge fan of this album. And this one is like kind of this is kind of the point where it's like you've still got the arc overall. I don't want to say it stops mattering because it does matter,
Mm-hmm.
but it stops becoming like as much of like a focus of the album just because it kind of
Sure.
the way it drifts off into areas later in the back half.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as apparent how like I don't think this is a one that people like are like, oh, the story, you know, like,
Sure,
oh,
sure,
yeah.
like
sure,
the
sure,
follow up has more like people like, oh yeah, the story is great. Like this one is a
Yeah.
little less obvious with it, but I think I don't like saying people don't care, but like people kind of don't care as much about the story of
Uh-huh.
Blood Mountain. Like, but you don't have to enjoy it.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause it's not like it's like a
yeah,
like a love like a.
I think of like a broken bride.
it's like a story like told. Yeah, like told in kind of like motifs of
right.
of feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, like you're
it's more about
telling
the
a
feeling of the
feeling
music
of-
than
Uh-huh.
it's more about. It's not in such a literal sense.
Yeah.
It's more of like just the feeling of the music
Mhm.
than like literally following along to the lyrics,
Right.
like some of their other records are.
Right. And it does get, I would say, more and more delirious
It
as
gets
the
heavy.
record
It
goes
gets
on.
it really goes off the walls.
Yeah.
And so, if I'm not mistaken, they just run away from these tree people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, I mean, that's part of your hero's journey.
Run with death.
Sometimes you just gotta run away from tree people.
Sometimes you just gotta run with death.
Yeah.
This was another single off this album.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and in the backing vocals on the chorus, on the little chant, the "Run with Death" chant, is Josh Homme of Queens of the Stone Age.
That's so cool.
I
He
want to
actually
listen to
recorded-
that.
Yeah, we can. He actually recorded a little voice memo at the end of the very last song of the album, thanking them for letting him feature on the album. So
What a
little note.
gentleman.
Oh.
There's like 15 minutes of silence after the song ends, and there's like his little voice memo. We can listen to that too if you want. Later. There he is.
It's so Queens of the Stone Agey.
It's very. You won't mistake Josh on that. Yeah. Yeah. They famously performed this one on Conan O'Brien.
Oh, cool.
Very good.
Whoa!
Very good performance of this song.
Wow.
That's fun.
And they also, I have a fun little attachment to this song. This has always been one of my favorites of theirs, and that chorus is so great.
Mhm.
That's always been stuck in my head since I heard it. And when I was a kid, we would watch like Comcast Video on Demand, like the music videos and stuff. And there was a Mastodon section, of course, because there was metal stuff. And I couldn't find the music video for this song. It's famously them performing in a cave, and there's like a waterfall and
Oh.
forest shots and like kind of not great CGI, but that's okay. They
Yeah.
had a
It's
budget.
2006.
They were
2006.
like a medium tier band with
Yeah.
a budget. You know, like they weren't quite at the heights they hit later on.
Mhm.
And for the longest time, I spent like a whole afternoon looking through their music videos. I was like, man, I can't find the one of them in the cave.
Mm.
I didn't know the song name. And then like it was like the last one. I was like, Colony of Birchmen. What the hell is this? And then it was the one. I was
Oh
like, it's
my
the one of them in
God.
the cave. Oh my god! Like
Yes!
7-year-old me was pumped.
Oh my God, what a win. Colony of Birchmen.
The dub. What the hell is this? All right, I guess I'll watch this one. And then I was like, oh my god, it's the one.
Oh my God. The real hero's journey.
Yes.
Truly.
Of finding the YouTube video.
Yeah.
That's so
And that
huge.
chorus is so powerful. It's so
Yeah.
great. We can pull that up if we can.
Ugh, it's so dramatic.
It's so dramatic, but it's
so
so
dramatic.
effective too. Oh.
Are you talking about the Run with Death part? Or
No, the gone away.
Oh, right
Yeah,
after, right after.
Yeah,
right
the
after.
the
like
bridge.
the
Right
chorus.
after.
Yeah. Come on, that's like Orion. That's Metallica riffage. That's so
Uh-huh.
good. And then it builds into this. Those vocals are just stunning. Come on.
Does he do the pizza slice? You know what I'm talking about?
What? Hold up.
Like holding a slide.
Have you guys never seen the pizza slice in action?
No.
You've never seen a
Pizza
great
slice?
metal band?
Oh,
and-
I think I know what you're talking about.
And,
No.
and they have a slice of pizza on their hand and they're giving it to you as
No.
they're singing so triumphantly.
Ugh.
Whoa.
It's like
I'm sure-
I'm getting chills thinking
I'm
about
sure
it.
when they were, I'm sure when they were recording it, there were some pizza slices involved.
Of course.
But I've seen them do this a couple times, and he was too busy playing guitar to hand out slices.
Oh yeah.
So, but
Sure,
still,
sure.
like, oh my god, that hook is just so.
Yeah. Oh.
And like he's
This is
singing.
This is a single. Like he is singing his ass off. Oh my god! And I want to mention they switch vocalists a lot. They don't have just the one person doing the singing.
Mhm.
It's Troy Sanders, Brent Hines, Bron Daler switching off on stuff. And this was actually the first record where Bron Daler is a more prominent vocalist.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, just the way they hit. Like something about the old style Mastodon singing. I miss. Like it's still great that they're like doing what they're doing nowadays. But like the way the gutturalness of like just the places they would pull from back on these albums, like just hit different compared. Like, and not to say that those newer albums don't. They still hit.
Yeah.
But like something about like just the rawness of the emotion, just like it hits right in my part that just makes me happy.
Right, exactly there.
Yeah.
Right in the prefrontal cortex.
Yeah. I can like feel the dopamine
Oh,
just secreting.
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, the best.
One of those. Yeah. Those harmonies are just gorgeous.
They're so good.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as good as being haunted by a strange creature in the sky.
Well, that doesn't sound very good at
This
all.
guy can't catch a break. Tree people,
This guy really
werewolves.
can't catch a break.
Right.
Werewolves,
And now-
birchmen, Sasquatches.
A griffin, mayhaps, or a dragon.
dragon?
I thought it was
or-
a pterodactyl thing.
I was also getting
I was under the
dinosaur
impression
vibes.
it was a pterodactyl
Well,
bat
there's
thing.
lots of like mystical creatures that have like pterodactyl features.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Yeah,
think they
I
were
got-
like drawing prehistoric dinosaur. Maybe they are. I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen there's a Blood Mountain survival guide that was like a little handout
Oh.
pamphlet they did back in the
Fun.
day.
I need that.
And there's great scans of it. They sold some on their garage sale site back in like I don't know the pandemic.
Sure.
It's like the different steps along the. I wish I had one to bring. Damn it, I'm missing.
One day.
This is something I'm missing from my collection.
Yes.
Is a Blood Mountain survival guide would be really sweet. Yeah, and it's just like it wasn't a track by track breakdown, but it was like listing out all the different creatures and like the
dig that.
the Hunters of the Sky one specifically
Yeah.
had a little bat image. So I think it was some sort of
Oh.
giant killer bat.
It's got
Uh-huh.
leathry wings,
Exactly,
and so
yeah.
it's
Sure.
bat
Precisely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Spooky echolocation.
Don't move it; it won't hear you.
What made me like get like have you guys ever like do you guys remember the first time you saw a Slenderman video?
Yes.
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 What gave me Slenderman video was the force-fed glass giant moth.
Yeah.
I just imagined like a moth blacking out the moon. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, give me
Mm.
Slenderman. Like
Those big flapping wing noises. No thanks.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, wouldn't want to be chased by that.
No, thank you. They'd pick me up like a chihuahua. You know how little dogs wear those
A little hawk,
vests?
yeah.
Yeah,
Those
so the
little
hawk
vests
doesn't
with the
get 'em.
spikes
Spike
on
vest for
them.
hawks.
You'd have to put me in one of those.
so yeah, great track,
Uh-huh.
great pterodactyl thing.
Spooky,
That's
predators in the sky.
You know what would help you not get taken up by pterodactyls if you had stones in your hands, so you're a little heavier.
Oh yeah.
Or you had fists made of stone and you could punch
in my
real
pockets.
hard right in the talons.
right in the jaw.
Yeah, rock 'em, sock 'em, sock it to 'em.
Track number 9, Hand of Stone.
Hand of Stone.
I don't have much to say about this one. It's a great song, wonderful harmonies, killer riff, very kind of macho. I don't know. There's some good footage of them messing around in the studio while they were doing this, and Bill, their guitar player, is like pulling back an arrow while they're listening back to tracks and stuff, and just it sounds like it sounds like a song you would chop wood to,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
a wood chopping kind of
It's
song,
Lumberjack
sure.
type beat.
lumberjack type beat. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
That's huge.
Great song though. Yeah.
I love
Riff is killer.
I love the line and delivery of this. What's a couplet with 4 lines in it? Quad.
Soliloquy?
Sure.
No, soliloquy's longer. I'm going to poetry.
I know what you're
don't
talking
know.
about though.
The stanza.
Quadruplet.
Feast or famine.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was what I was gonna bring up.
Drama,
just
drama,
that
drama.
right there is enough. Drink
That little, like,
deception, the well
breakdown.
one
Yeah.
dries.
Yeah,
I
The
wanna
need
know
for
that.
temptation. Because this is like a rose, right? That's
Yes,
poisonous. And
yes,
he's tempted by
yeah.
it, which is one of the hero journeys things where you're tempted by something.
Mhm.
But what were you going to say about it?
I was gonna say this is one of those moments where like, damn, I kind of miss the old vocal style a little bit because they don't do this sort of stuff anymore, where they just kind of get out there a little bit with their vocal range. But like this whole section just works so well in that song,
Yeah.
and like the way it builds in that breakdown, and then the ending of the song is just so killer.
Yeah, this is a great second half record. It's meaty. I want to hear the guitar solo. Unless you have something to
Please.
say about it, Sarah.
I want to hear Feast and Famine,
Yes.
and then we can find the guitar solo.
Okay,
Yeah.
the guitar solo's at 2:30. I don't know.
I
where-
think
I don't
they're
know
right
where Feast
after
and
each
Famine
other.
is.
Perfetto. This is Pizza Slice.
And then what it goes into after this solo.
Cuckoo Bananas. Zach, you said dentist favorite time for the solo?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And then there's like a line about heartbeat after this. That's after the. It's kind of like that goes into the solo too.
Oh, we want to hear that one too.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of does like where he takes
A little bridge before the solo.
takes that kind of
yeah.
same rhythmic mouthfeel of Feast or Famine and pits it like through more spots in
Exactly.
the
Yes.
song.
Through
Yeah.
much harsher vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, come on. Just that build up. The double bass drum. Come on. Oh my god. Just to see his face. How can you not headbang?
It's crazy.
It's so, and it's just relentlessly heavy too.
Yes.
Oh my god. Like this would get any crowd whipped up.
Come on.
I'd like to add it.
That's great context.
That's how well I know this album.
He's been air drumming the whole time he's been
the whole
talking
time.
too.
Oh yeah.
I can't like look at his eyes. I'm just watching his hands. Just paradiddles.
Exactly.
Paradiddles the whole way
The
down.
whole way
I
down.
can't keep my hands still.
Can't keep my hands to myself.
The
Track,
next song.
track number 10, This Mortal Soil.
Heavy as all.
What a great string
Like,
of words.
One of my favorites.
What a name. It's just such a metal album.
It's such a metal album in that way. But
This
like,
mortal soil.
but I also love that this song is like one of the less metal songs too. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's heavy.
That's true.
It's heavy, but it's like probably the most psychedelic Mastodon
It's like
song.
proggy
Exactly.
and psychedelic.
Yeah.
And like there's like a spoken word section that's almost a little new metal-y to my ears.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. And just they would open with this one sometimes on this
Ooh.
tour, and I just they don't play this anymore. I wish they did. Another instance of please play this again. They would like come out with that whole acoustic guitar intro, and then they would kick right into it, into like the that was where they would start. And yeah, this song is just incredible. I just it kind of sounds like Blade Catcher is the bad trip song. This is the good trip.
Ooh.
This is the good trip song.
Yeah.
This is the song you want a trip to.
Because we've like, again, in the storyline, we've like eaten this rose.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's like-
This is after the rose eating. Yeah.
And now
we're
a lady is giving us
hallucinating.
like she read our bones like in a bad way, or she's telling our future in a weird way.
Kind of.
She's
Yeah.
like,
Red
if you
or
bring the
bones
crystal,
is crazy.
This is kind of
if you bring the crystal skull to the top,
This
you'll cause
is
the apocalypse.
kind of the following resolution of the storyline so far.
Yeah, it's like it's very like the goddess, the temptress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we can cut this if this isn't interesting. But when I was like reading about the hero's journey, everyone thinks like the temptation is like, ooh, come eat this ice cream sundae or whatever. Like come get this delicious decadent thing. But no, it's temptation to leave the journey.
Right.
It's temptation to
Right.
quit.
Right. And this is kind of along that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like but also like I don't know, something about it just like feels like it's still like kind of like yeah, you could leave, but also like see what happens if you don't.
Exactly.
Apocalypse?
It's still
Who
ambiguous.
knows?
And it's
Yeah.
also like, I went into a cave to get this goddamn crystal skull. Like, I want to see this through.
Right,
You
yeah.
know? Like,
Covered in blood sucking flies.
there was
Yeah.
lava and shit.
Yeah, like I already fought a werewolf lady. Like I gotta keep walking.
Or am I the werewolf? I don't even know anymore. I don't even know anymore.
This one might be my favorite.
This one's one of my favorites too. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a great song.
I love like there's almost like some Pink Floydiness to it.
Sure.
And I
Definitely.
want to play it
Yeah.
like right at 3 minutes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. This is also one of the songs that features lead vocals from their drummer. One of the first songs that features lead
Oh,
vocals
cool.
from Ron Daler.
Heyo.
Yeah. And the weight just kicks into that. So clutch. Again, that bass, it's kind of camouflaged in and it just creeps up every now and then.
Yeah, he's like
Troy's playing is amazing.
he's a very modest bass player.
He's very, but like the way he like shines in and out, like he just kind of like he weaves his playing in
It's a
so
little
well to
wink.
their guitar playing, just because like there's so much going on with the guitar and the drums.
Sure.
Where it's like he's got to stay in the pocket with stuff and like keep things pulled together.
Yeah, yeah.
But when he shines, he really shines with his playing. He's
Wow.
just he's exceptional.
What a team player.
What and like also just like the sheer like luck of getting those four guys into a room together too.
Of course.
Oh my god! Any of those guys could have been in any other band, and they just happened to luck into
And this was
this band.
Yeah.
they've only been in one band, right? This was like their first band for most of them.
No,
I
they
was
were all
reading.
playing in other bands.
Okay.
But this is like their band that really broke through.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
And I mean, it's also been the band they've all been doing the longest too.
Sure.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they were like in bands here and there, all of them growing up, but like. This is like this is the
home.
one that like this is the one. It's like this is like what feels right. This is what they
Yeah.
were doing. This was their thing. So one of those.
Yeah.
There was no Siberian Divide.
Oh
after
my
they
God.
started being a band.
So things have gotten bleak for our hero. on
True.
this track.
Trapped under an avalanche.
Trapped under an avalanche, hypothermia, auto cannibalism, starving, freezing, dying. It's bleak. It's bad.
Does he die or does the world end? It's not very clear.
I thought he bleeds. To
I
death.
think both.
Well, he didn't put the skull up there.
I think he did.
Did he?
I think he did.
I thought he did.
I think he did because how else would the fucking world end?
Maybe I missed it.
Um,
I thought his world was ending.
while we're on this song, I want to
Yeah.
bring out my surprise
Yeah.
while I'm at it.
Please.
So I brought a secondary beverage. We've
This
been
is
drinking
so
the
exciting.
Blake's Black Phillip hard cider,
Mhm.
6.6% ABV. Good stuff.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday,
It's St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day.
yeah.
So I have a little something. I'm gonna get this from the fridge real quick. I'll be right back.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We can vamp.
Let me grab this.
Yeah.
And then we'll keep
Yeah.
it rolling.
Yeah.
Don't stop rolling.
Oh, of course, of course. No, Zach. Oh my God, we've been hosting this podcast for almost 5 years. Can we fill like 20 seconds of air?
Absolutely not.
Fuck.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to
That's
yes
not how you're supposed
You're taking improv classes. I fucked up.
Stupid. So there are bottles in front of us now.
So not to stray from the album, I'm going to stray a little bit.
Okay.
I had a little bit of a hard time picking a beer,
Okay.
other than finding this one. I have a little something that I'm not sure has been done on this podcast before. I have band inputs
Oh my god.
from their drummer Bron Daler. I've met him a few times. Really great guy.
Oh,
Super nice
my
guy.
God.
We hung out at a movie screening of the movie River's Edge, which if you've never seen
Cool.
that,
Huge.
go watch it. It's pretty great. Don't look at anything about it. Just go in blind. And I had some trouble thinking of a beer. So before I found the Blake's Hard Cider, I texted Bron Daler on Instagram.
Oh
my
I
gosh.
slid
my
into the
God.
DMs. I was like, hey, dude, you're a beer fan. And you're in Mastodon.
Wow.
How
And
convenient.
so I was like, hey, man, do you have a beer pairing for Blood Mountain? And he didn't answer.
Sure.
I'm kidding. He did answer 30 minutes later. He took a minute,
Wow,
which is fine.
what a guy.
He did actually answer.
Wow.
And he gave me like a whole little paragraph. He was like, yeah, actually, I do. When we were recording that album up in Seattle, his words, there was a Belgian beer bar that opened down the street from the studio, and there was like 100 different beers on tap. And he recommended this beer, Leffe Blonde.
What
This is
a
my
bench.
first time trying it.
Oh my god,
Oh my
I've never had
gosh.
this.
I've never had it either.
I'm really glad I brought everything I brought today.
Oh, you just had this card in your pocket the whole time.
I wanted to save it for the penultimate track on the album,
You
just because.
sneaky minx.
Yes.
This
So
is so
I've got some
exciting.
Leffe Blonde. I've never tried it before, so if we're not into it, that's okay.
I
I think I'll be into it personally.
we're
speaking.
into it.
I'm not
If
gonna.
there's
I'm
an
not
album
gonna offend the
Directly
drummer of-
tied to the album. This is like he was like, yeah, pretty much every night after recording this album, we would go down to that Belgian bar and knock a few back and have some fries and hang out and
Wow.
stuff. And so yeah, thanks, Bron, if you're listening.
Yeah, thanks,
Oh
Bron.
my
Cool.
God.
Good guy, Bron.
Wow.
Very.
so-
Yeah,
Hey,
so-
shouts out.
Beer tied specifically to the recording of this album,
That's
courtesy
so
of
sick.
Mastodon.
Wow. That is the first time we've done that on the pod.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so hyped.
I think the last time we had direct artist input, and it wasn't even like this. It was just kind of like, this is the vibes. Not
Yeah, not like
we
this
went
is-
and drank this
Thank
beer.
you.
Like maybe, well, definitely the Haley Blay episode. That was like episode 10 or some
Yeah.
shit. Like way back. Thank you so much.
So this was their go-to.
This was
after a
one of
hard
the
day
go-tos.
recording.
Yeah, this is what Bron recommended, and I found it after checking a few different shops by me,
Oh my.
and I
God.
was like, "Well, I'm so glad I found this today."
Yeah, thank you so much for
Wow.
doing that. It's
Hey.
a blonde ale, product of Belgium.
Cheers, everybody!
Mastodon.
Cheers to Mastodon.
They're a beer kind of band, so this is great. I'm really glad.
This tastes like sweet riffs.
I am so
Yum,
excited.
yum, 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 yum.
That's so creamy.
Delish, delight.
His Instagram handle is Cream Ale. Actually, that's funny you mentioned that.
Oh,
So thank you,
a man
Bron.
after my own heart.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for the recommendation. I hope you listen to this. If you do, I love your album, and I love all your albums. So,
Thank you so
thanks,
much.
Bron.
Yeah.
You're the man.
Go follow at Cream Ale on. Is it cream underscore? Just Cream
Just Cream
Ale.
Ale.
Just creamy
Go
ale.
follow
Wow.
Cream Ale on Instagram.
We'll also follow Mastodon. too.
and follow Mastodon and,
But
link in
Bron's also pretty
description.
cool too. Bron's a man.
Yeah.
He's my guy.
I mean, direct input
Direct
on this
input from the
episode.
van. That's,
So,
I wasn't expecting an answer. I was like, hey, dude, you're probably busy, so I'm just gonna make this quick. And do you have a beer pairing for Blood Mountain? And he was, I was like, oh man, he didn't answer. And then he got back to me, and I was like, oh shit, a whole thing.
and he was a real one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So good beer choice. This is actually this
is
is
delish.
also perfect for
This
the
is-
album. I feel like this is as
so
good as
good.
the ciders. This is better than my pick personally.
The head on your pour looks like the avalanche we're about like ready to talk about.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, Siberian Divide. How do we feel
Penultimate
about this track?
I love this song.
Penultimate.
They used to play this. They don't play it so much anymore.
Mhm.
But this also features Cedric from the Mars Volta and At the Drive-In.
Yeah.
On
that's
some
so
back
At
cool.
the drive-in. Sounds
Those
familiar.
Yeah.
super high notes at the kind of like that whole the big dramatic moments on that song.
Uh-huh.
It's got Cedric on there, and like I love the lyrics on this song.
Yeah.
It's grotesque, but also
It
like
is.
it's poetic too, and it just feels kind of like, of course this guy's doomed. Like it just sounds
Right.
kind of, it's very fitting for this album. Like this doesn't seem like a task that would be easily achievable let alone by some guy.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't want a happy ending right
Right.
now. Like, it doesn't deserve it. It's a drama.
Right, it's
Yeah.
very dramatic in
Yeah.
that way, and that's kind of what I love about this song. Like, it's got that whole hook, the do 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 do, that whole guitar riff there, like that just being kind of the main carrying thing of that song is just so it's ear candy. Something about it, just the way those harmonies hit my ears. Just again, the dopamine, just like right there in the prefrontal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Straight
Great
to the
song.
dome.
And just like the dramatics of the drums and the riffage, like the way all of that intertwines is just so perfect for this album. And like it just feels like, how else would you close out something this chaotic and crazy without like with like just closing it with like a big huge dramatic moment like this, and like having it kind of like take such a dark turn is just so, it's part fascinating and also like it's kind of like watching a train wreck.
Sure.
It's like you're just kind of, you can't help but look.
right. You're like, well,
Yeah, I'm already here. Might as well see it through.
that's
One
where
of
the
those.
story's headed.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely.
I already bought my ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. This song rips. I love this song so much.
It reminded me of our Kate Bush episode where the second half of her record is about a man drowning at sea.
Trapped, yes.
And it really, you really
feel
sonically feel the weight of the situation.
That
and
record
very similar
stressed
here.
me out.
Yeah. We're like, oh, this is a man dying.
Cat Blackard, I love and respect you. The record stressed me
That's
out.
funny you mentioned that, because the album before this, Leviathan,
Uh-huh.
ends with like a 13-minute epic called Hearts Alive.
Oh,
And
And
feel
that's
like
that's like all of the guys drowning on the ship after they failed to kill
Holy
Moby.
shit.
Maybe did they kill Moby Dick? I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't read the book.
couldn't tell you.
I never read the book either. I just know the album, and you could just feel the stress of the situation, and they just
Yeah.
heighten that so much more here,
Mhm.
and it just the way it pays off is just so satisfying, but also like kind of gut wrenching at the same time.
Yeah.
It's one of those
goodness.
moments on the album where it's like, oh yeah, shit's getting real.
Oh, yeah.
You can like just hear it in the guitar tone,
And the guitar tone sounds sad.
It's sinister.
Yeah.
It is. This is a sinister song, but it's one of those moments where it's like, oh, yeah, of course it would be, yeah.
It lends itself so nicely into the last track, Pendulous Skin, which is like an Edgar Allan Poe ass word.
Pendulous skin.
Yeah. I was like, oh.
Ugh.
There's a great live recording of this song, of them playing this in the aquarium.
Ooh.
Acoustic. They don't really play that one live, just because it's one of those songs that just didn't really fit in, and it just fits into more like, they don't really do acoustic stuff, but
Uh-huh.
it was one of those like, it was like a pandemic project they had,
Sure.
and it's one of those songs. It's like, oh, it's kind of their Pink Floyd moment. It's probably their
Yes.
most Pink Floyd song they have, just because the use of the organs on it, and just like the way that whole song kind of builds into itself. That whole opening guitar section, which if we could listen to it, it's
Of
beautiful.
Yeah.
course.
Again, Brent Hines killing it.
Yeah.
Just incredible moment on the album, and just like I learned that whole opening on guitar.
It's a good
It's
opening.
a tough one.
Yeah.
But it's so cool. It's so worth learning. It's worth pushing yourself like, yeah, I don't know shit about guitar, but I can play this at least.
Yeah.
Here, why don't you plug in your guitar right now and play this for our listeners? Okay, here we go.
Just stunning. The use of like that hissing synthesizer in the back. Like, I know that's a synth. It kind of sounds like sand sweeping across the desert almost.
It's like we're getting our Mario ice level and then our Mario desert level.
Exactly.
you
It's
know?
perfect. It's like just after such a dramatic moment, where would you go with that after the fact?
It's
like
just airy.
you need it to be kind of, you don't know if he dies. You don't know if the
Uh-huh.
protagonist dies, but you don't know if he lives after all. Like it definitely sounded like he died. But like
Yeah, this
the
could be
way-
Afterworld. This could
yeah,
be...
exactly. And the way like that whole song just kind of builds and like has that little swing in the drum beat and the super whacked out trippy vocals with all those effects on them too.
Yeah.
It's a highlight on the album. It's one of my favorite songs, and it's just that much more of an air to like where they would go after the fact too, because
Right.
where they went after with that next album, Crack the Sky, is just, you could hear the prog influence going further, and then like the way they take it after the fact, like you can hear like this is a band at their peak. Like hitting hard and heavy
Uh-huh.
and with everything they have. And like, not that they're still hitting super hard and heavy and at their peak. I feel like they're only about to peak. Like, oh, who knows?
Yeah.
Like, who knows? They've only begun to peak.
They've just started climbing up the mountain.
And they just happen to kick ass along the way.
Yes.
And I'm saying this as a fanboy. Yeah, it's just one of those moments on the album where it's like it just kind of signaled the things to come and like just the highs they would hit even further beyond
Yeah.
this album. And just this is their third album. My third album doesn't sound this good. What the hell?
Like not many do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is like a masterpiece of a story, a through line.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is a real accomplishment as far as like any band is considered, and I have so much admiration for it as a musician and also just as a fan of music.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of my top 5s for a reason.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, with that, let's take a moment to debate an award for this record.
sure.
We've talked about it. We've loved on it. We've giggled. And every album's a winner on Album or Brews. So when we come back, we're going to give this album a Brewski. See ya.
The winner for Best Tribruski of 2006, winner of the Lumberjack Music to Be a Hero 2, goes to Blood Mountain by Mastodon.
I'm imagining the lo-fi beats
Mastodon
girl,
out here.
but it's like
Mastodon
got a
aren't here to
beard.
accept the award,
Yeah.
but we will make sure they get that award as soon as possible.
Yeah.
We accept it on their behalf.
We accept it on
Yeah.
their behalf.
Thank you to the Academy.
Thank you to the Academy. Thank you, Braun Daler, for the beer input.
Thank you so much, Braun. We really
It's a
appreciate
great
you.
beer.
It's
It's a
delicious.
Good beer.
Good
I'm enjoying
beer.
my Leffe Blonde.
Hey. And thank you, listener, for listening to this album and this episode. We are Album Rebrews. If you want to find us on Instagram, it is at Album Rebrews. We're also on Blue Sky now, but we haven't done much there. But it's also at Album Rebrews. I don't know. We also have a website. It's www.albumrebrews.com. We have a guest host submission form there. If you want to come do this, feel free to fill that out. And we have a link to buy us a coffee, or in this case, buy us a cider, buy us a beer. We appreciate it. That goes directly to inebriating Chicago artists.
a stance everyone can agree on.
Thank you. Bipartisan. There. And now Zach with the weather.
A giant thank you to the weather. No, today our editor and singer-songwriter extraordinaire Cameron Bopp. We couldn't do the show without him. He makes this show very, very good, and we appreciate him. Go check out his EP, the Bop EP, and
The
go
Pop EP.
go the Pop EP,
The Pop EP by Cameron Bopp. Everywhere you stream music.
and go check him out on Twitch. He will play GeoGuessr for your heart's delight. Another giant thank you to Brady for coming on. If you are a human, and you should go listen to Brady's music. He's got a great record out, Sirens from the Monolith. Go stream it everywhere. Go see it performed live in its entirety.
Yes.
Tomorrow, if you're listening as this episode's coming out, Friday the 21st at Meet and Greet Whiskey in Edgewater at 7 p.m. We'll be there probably. Come hang out. It'll be great.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good one.
What's the name of the venue again?
Meat and Whiskey.
Meat and
Up
Whiskey.
in Edgewater. 6341 North Broadway, if I'm not mistaken.
Put it in your Google Maps, babe.
7 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's going to be a good one. Playing the whole album. Be a fun time. If you're hearing this after the fact, I'm sorry you missed it.
It was
But
great.
where can they follow you if
They
they,
can
want to
follow
stay
me.
updated?
Yeah, they can follow me at Brady_Matteson on Instagram. You can find all my music and my stuff there. Tapes, if they're still available, on my Bandcamp. That's always appreciated if you want one. And yeah, thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Braun, for the input.
Yeah.
Oh my God, band input from one of my heroes. That's incredible. I'm still drinking this beer and enjoying it. Thank you guys for having me again. I appreciate it so much, and I'm so glad to blab about this band for so long.
Yes, we're glad to have you.
Well, thank you both for the fun and surprises tonight. To end this episode the way we end every episode, we are going to, in the order that we introduced ourselves, get very close to the mic and say a sweet and tender ASMR style goodbye. I will go first. This is blonde, blonde, blonde Belgian ale.
Good night.
Hi. Sorry to bother you. Are you Bruce Springsteen?
Oh, yeah, I am. Nice to meet a fan.
This is crazy. I love you.
No, sorry. I'm not gonna... That's a bit.
That's crazy.
I can't do Mickey the whole time.
I was gonna say you do have some long lines, but I don't hate it.
USA, brother. We'll fit all these in outtakes at the end of the episode.
I love that.